Hello, this is a quick video about keyword research for Amazon product listings. One of the first foundations for listing any product. We need to understand what keywords do we need to go for, and then optimize our page listing, PPC campaign, product launch formulas, everything else that goes behind it on the basis of keyword research. So very, very critical. We use a base systematic approach to create the first layer of what kind of keywords we want to go for. Direct, indirect, and different things, and we'll come to the types of keywords, but and then overlay with other elements of Google AdWords, etc. But for now, we just keep it simple. This is kind of a 5-stage process that we use. This can be identified, for each of the stages, there's a bit more detail beneath here. In the process overview tab, you can look at the tab, you can look at this document in the keyword research for Himalaya products. This is for UK, but generally this is where you can see this, you can find this document. So this, before we go into the detail, we use Helium 10 only for now, right? Yes, there are Google AdWords and a few other tools out there that we can use and we should use to some extent to overlay on top of it, but the first layer of keyword research is only done through Helium 10 in a 5-stage process. Right, and even this is the first stage of Helium 10. There's few things we can add on, but this is literally stage 1 of Helium 10 results. So how does it work? We need to identify the key competitors, stage 1. Then we go for competitor analysis using Cerebro. So basically it's a reverse keyword search on top competitors. So once you identify the key competitors, you just literally give the ASIN of the competitor, choose the marketplace and hit run, and Helium 10 just gives you all the keywords that the competitor is going for. Then there's a category analysis. So not just direct keywords. For example, turmeric, right? Turmeric is for joint care, joint pain solution. Now, if someone is looking for, I don't know, let's say belts or support for joint care or joint care equipment or anything related to joint care, but supplements, right? This one is more for supplements for joint care. This is more for broader joint care category on its own. That's the difference. Where we use a tool called Magnet in Helium 10, and we just write a couple of targeted keywords for that category, and Magnet just spills out some relevant keywords for that category. So all we're doing is understand the competitor to understand what kind of category we are in, and then we expand it. We look at competitor, we simply consolidate it, and then segment it into what is highly relevant, semi-relevant, and not relevant. And I'll explain to you what DPC in and is, which basically is the prioritization of highly relevant, partially relevant, moderately relevant, and not relevant. Right, direct, partial, complementary, and not relevant. Okay, so let's take an example and test it out. Okay, so stage 1 is identify keywords. We use ASIN Inspector. Sorry, yeah, ASIN Inspector is something let's use Amazon, and the example we're going to choose is turmeric 95. So let's say turmeric Himalaya. Right, this one. So let's assume we're doing keyword research. Now this is already done. This keyword research is already done. So but I'm just using this example to run it, and we'll see how we have used this based on the keyword research that we have come to. Okay, so let's use this as the basis. Here is the template. Here's one of the template in each of the 5 stages that we have said. And I'll just take through each of them step by step. It looks long, but it's pretty, as long as you kind of follow the steps, it's actually quite easy. So stage 1, identify key competitors, right? And you can look at the details here. as I'm going through is kind of a high level view, but I'm just going to run through directly here. Right, okay, so stage one, key competitors. So let's choose turmeric. Just anything relevant for ashwagandha is going to be ashwagandha. For anything that you think might be relevant, try a couple of keywords and see what comes. So if you, turmeric is quite an easy one because it's just turmeric, and you'll see highly relevant targeted sets of competitors here. Okay, so the way we assess and identify the competitors is simply using ASIN inspector, right? So it's a small icon. You'll be given a code. You'll have access to it. You simply click it, and so let's do it. So once you have identified, I mean, test it out. You may not be right the first time if it's a complicated niche product, but for this one, it's pretty straightforward. It's turmeric is a product. Turmeric is the keyword, kind of major keyword. So let's just click this. So it just assesses all the data points in few seconds of all the main products that we have here, right? All turmeric, turmeric, turmeric in all the KPIs. So what is this? A product name, title. Again, you can add. I mean, there are multiple things that it's hidden as well. So let's say show ASIN, for example, show sponsored links, etc. Right? So basically, it just gives all the information about all the products in one simple, easy to you can extract it in Excel, etc. It gives you the rank, overall rank. Very important for us is estimated sales monthly and in terms of volume and in terms of value, and reviews. So I think I would recommend using these three elements to understand who our competitors are, right? So I will simply click this. It will sort it: organic turmeric, 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 turmeric with curcumin. Yes, we have also turmeric with curcumin. So pretty much all these five are actually relevant. Sometimes there are some ad hocs where some of them are not. So you just have to be picky on just make sure they are the relevant. Make sure you check the pages if you're not sure, etc. But it seems these are relevant, right? So I'm going to go ahead and how do I do? Okay, so I'm going to just pick the top five in these, and yes, what checking in the Amazon pages as well, and just double check they are. But this is a straightforward example, so you just do that, then export into Excel. Okay, not sure that one. Okay, so once we have the word turmeric, and you can experiment with a few things until you feel, it doesn't have to be exact, accurate. This one is straightforward. Turmeric, you get turmeric competitors, right? So whatever the category is, that you're going after, turmeric. Sometimes you have to just supplements or something of that sort. Just give it a go, because most likely the good branded products will be targeting those that makes sense. So if you look at turmeric, and it just gives some recommendation as well. If it doesn't, then so just pick what is most relevant. For me, this is the most common denominator of all, so I'll just stick with turmeric. Once that is done, we use a tool called ASIN inspector, which basically, let's say, based on whatever the data is. So once what's identified, just simply clicking it. It's a data fetching tool, similar to Jungle Scout or something that if you're used to, much better than Jungle Scout in my opinion. It just extracts all the information of all the pages in here. So rank, category, but the most important are these three ones for us: volume of indicative sales, sales, volume, and reviews. Out of these three things, if the product is relevant, and you can just probably, yeah, this is organic turmeric. Ours is organic turmeric as well. Turmeric. Yeah. So, and if you just filter it by sorted by revenue, you now have the top 5 most best-selling in that category, and just double check if they are. And yeah, these are. You can check, you can click them and check the Amazon pages if it makes sense, if it does. And you know, the number of reviews also shows that these are actually quite relevant. Actually, this one, all these 3, 4, actually the top 4 are very relevant. This one has higher reviews but lower sales, but is a better ranking than this one as well. So I could in the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 is definite. You know, these are high sales items, good rankings, and good number of reviews. This is debatable. You can go with either. Actually, for our purpose, as long as we've got the at least the top 3, you know, the end results would not matter a lot between who we choose, like ones. So take your gut feeling for now, right? Or you could choose all 6 if you're not sure sometimes. I'm just going to keep it simple and just choose this, right? You can include what kind of KPIs. There's a lot of number. I mean, ASIN Inspector does it all. So you select them and then have export it to CSV. Boom. You get the data. Let's try again. I don't know what happened. Okay. Okay, here. So you have that. You have all the data of that thing, where you simply copy it, and let's go to the template, and then paste it. Right now, it's probably given a lot more data than we don't need all of this data in the end. Number of reviews, brand, category, rank, units, sales. Actually, you can have reviews as well. I think it was supposed to be there, right? Yeah, so you've copied it, you've pasted it, and that's it. That's done. I mean, there's a bit of kind of, I don't know where the issue is, but it doesn't matter. It's basically 66,000. So that's step 1, which is here. Now explaining it, that's why it's taken a bit of time. Otherwise, like, just imagine you going into it, typing turmeric, clicking ASIN Inspector, choosing the top 5, downloaded it, and copy pasting it into here. You know, it should take 5 minutes. It's not it's not that complicated. Okay, so step 2 is let's use this in the same spirit. Let's use Cerebro to do reverse research on these top competitors. So going into this one, Cerebro is here. All we do is you take each of them. Now some of them are already run before, because this turmeric we've already done the research. So basic, all you have to do is this and .co, and then reverse it. And now, because it's done it, I would say load from history. But basically, even if it's not, it will just take some time, and boom, it gives you all the keywords that they're using for, and very important information. Just sorted by, if you click at this one, it sorts by exact keyword research to it. It gives you what are the most highly relevant keyword. So basically, if you focus on these top more than 100, you're pretty much covering a lot already, right? So continue this exercise for the remaining, I would say, 4 or 5, sometimes 3. So that's why in the end we're going to just consolidate the data. So most likely the best sellers have included all of the keywords anyways. So we're just doing the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th competitors, just to make sure if some of them have missed certain keywords that's relevant. Yeah, because we're just going to consolidate the data from the top 5. So I'm going to skip this exercise, and in terms of showing in the video, and then I'll go straight into, I'll just do this in the background, and then I'll pick it up from once I've done all these 5 reports, right? Thanks. Okay, so I've just gone through and added all these ones. Now, for this example, most all of them were done before, so I just had to kind of look into the history. But assuming if you were doing the new keywords, it would, appear. So if you click history, it will appear kind of the first in. I mean, there's so many done historically, and we have a certain number of magnet research or cerebral results that we can run every month. So we just need to use this like kind of semi-silver or gold, like just be, we can't just run for fun, just relevant only, right? Um, but because we've done that already, it's actually hidden. I think it was at page 12, just because I've done that before. So here you can see these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? All you do is, so all you've done is literally copy pasted this, run that. It takes few seconds. It's the results in the back end. Do this. So this can be done within 5 minutes, right? Just imagine copy pasting this, running. So that's one result in 1 minute, and then just running it out, selecting them all, and then export. The reason we select them all and rather than individual is what Helium 10 does is it consolidates the set of keywords across all of the 5 and then only gives you the one which is a consolidated list, which is great because we don't need to have like one same keyword repeated 5 times. We just need the most relevant keywords across all of them with the exact search phrase to give us the level of importance it is. So we export it, um, and literally accept the title, copy it as it is, go back here, and in step 2, you see here, try doing paste values because it doesn't just interrupts the format. So let's say paste special values. Boom, that's it. And it just consolidate all the data in one place. So that's straightforward. So once you identify, just run each of them in Cerebro, select all of them in one go, and copy pasting this in here across all the columns. And I'll tell you why these are important, but for now, just copy pasting across all of them. Now, going back to the process. So what we've done is step 1 and step 2, right? Step 1, identify. Step 2, just run through Cerebro and copy pasting it into table 2. Step 3, magnet. Now magnet is about relevant keyword which we want to run. So it's about the category, right? So what we've gone for turmeric supplement, turmeric generally gave us the supplements. So sometimes if we're going for, let's say, gymnema or something which is blood sugar level, if you just write blood sugar level, a lot of machine kit testing kit comes up, so it's not relevant for us. So there you won't find it. Whereas here, you would probably go for something like blood sugar level or sugar levels, to dive into the category to see what else are they using. Because if they're looking for blood sugar level, for example, if they're concerned about testing their sugar levels, they probably want one of our supplements with a gymnema or glucocare to help maintain that sugar level in the future or at that point, right? So magnet, what we need to do here is understand what turmeric, curcumin, and I think the best is just looking at these keywords because most of them should be using high relevant keywords into their titles already. So if there's anything that you can do, recruitment is kind of the major. You may not need both a lot of it. If the results from the magnet is not a lot, then you expand the list. But I think 1 or 2, I think is a good start already. Some of them are smaller industry, but turmeric is a big category, so it's easier. Some of them are smaller, so you have to be more creative in identifying what keywords are relevant. So black pepper, probably not. I mean, that's too vague. I think let's start with this, right? So if you go turmeric, and you go into magnet now, again, it will probably tell you I've done the research. Turmeric, again, choose.co.uk, and run. Boom, that was quick. Sometimes it takes time, sometimes it's pretty straightforward. Now what it does is literally spells out and anything that is closely, hardly, whatever related keywords there is. And again, very important thing here. So this is where if competitors have missed certain keywords that's relevant to us, and again, even if it's partially relevant, we can use it for PPC campaigns. We may not use it for on page, but PPC campaigns. Some will not be relevant. It doesn't mean that everything is relevant. Sometimes competitors just go, so this is not competitors category. It's just anything related. So docs, supplements, and digestion, like absolutely not relevant. Arthritis tablets, yes, it is relevant. So again, it's useful to have this, and then let's use curcumin. But by the way, I think these turmeric and curcumin are very close, so most likely they're going to have same thing. Let's do actually joint care. I think that's the category for turmeric that we're going for, right? So let's do joint care. So let's do joint. Oh, sorry, joint pain. Sorry, my fault. Joint pain, not joint care. Joint pain, and let's run it. Let's update this. Because that's what we are targeting. If you look at our turmeric, turmeric for arthritis and joint pain. Arthritis, we can't claim it, but not sure what's happened. So joint pain, search again. Let's do it. Okay. Don't know. Might be a temporary issue. Don't know. Joint pain. Okay, I don't know. Now it shouldn't happen, but not at the time of recording this video. So let's go to magnet again. Now, because I've run it before already, again, I'm going to skip through and just look at there. Turmeric is there. You open it. Now, sometimes it's good to just get rid of some products that's not relevant at all. That for example, exclude phrases like dog, right? So far we have what? Total keywords 129. So let's say dog. I think we oh, okay, there were only 2. Is there anything else that makes relevant? I mean, we'll be cleaning up anyways later on. Oh, dogs. It's dogs. Okay, dogs. Oh, another 5. Tea. I saw somewhere tea. Healthy supplies, boosters, control. I don't know, just spray. Like these. I mean, just spray. Okay. I mean, you can play with it, but anyways, it's not too important because we're going to clean it up anyways later. So once you have that, you go to export. You go to Excel. Okay, so we have this. Oh, they've added some more columns since we knew about this last time. So we copy the entire thing. We go back here. So once we've identified some keywords, and we literally, now they're going to be more columns because they've added columns, but it's a good thing. Let's edit, paste, values. Boom. I'm going to say edit in this column, paste values. Okay, they've recently added these columns. It wasn't there, but that's a good thing. Okay, that changes a bit from our end. That is Okay, the process now generally changes. Okay, Cerebro IQ results. I mean, okay, fine. They have recently changed it. It's a good thing, but we just need to tweak our process now slightly. Okay, so we have this, and I'm going to skip the video, but basically, literally go in, find them, and add all of them, right? And I'm just going to go ahead, skip the video, and add them through for step 3. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I've just gone through and added these keywords. I've actually went over the top, and I think you started with turmeric or joint pain, for example. But just to show that we can be creative, and I've used Amazon search bars to identify certain more potential keywords, like arthritis is another term here. For me, these are redundant because if you're going for turmeric, Magnet will automatically identify these, even this, for example, right? But again, I'm just showing as an example. If turmeric or certain kind of primary keyword what we thought didn't provide, you need to find a different angle, maybe joint support or joint pain. So these again would be in a similar category and didn't require to be duplicated. So I've just gone through and added those out here and here. Right now in the process, we have done this, identified 5, run the Cerebro, gather consolidated results, run Magnet based on potential categories that we're targeting, and get there. And now we need to consolidate. Consolidating is literally copy paste. The first part of consolidation is copy paste. So we will go into this, copy, and I'll try. I recommend, so this is in table 4 now, right? Sorry, by the way. The template that you might be working on might be slightly different because with time, over time, things might have changed. We have tweaked it. So just be careful of what columns are there, not there, etc. So let's edit, paste, special values, boom. So everything is there, done. I would write here Cerebro so we know these results are Cerebro. I would give Cerebro a higher priority than Magnet because competitors are using Cerebro. Yes, there are some instances where we find category related keywords in Magnet that competitors are not using it, which is great. And the same here, going to for edit, paste, special values. Okay. Sorry, that was from the previous template, I guess. And then this was Magnet. Okay, now comes the most important and slightly more time consuming part. This is the only part that needs a thorough review, because so far what we've done is actually not a lot of thinking in terms of what we're going for. So identify key competitors, putting in ASIN inspector, spills out, we choose based on the 3 matrix we talked about. That is done by Helium 10, that is done by Helium 10, that is done by ASIN inspector. This is, yes, we move them around, but there's not a lot to do. Now, once we consolidate, now we need to use our understanding of the category, what's relevant, what's not, and use a judgment to do that. But before that, we need to clean this data, because you can see here in the count, it just counts how many times turmeric organic is listed on this, right? So search, cover that table, put a filter. I would say anything which is not 1, and I would say keep deleting. And yeah, it's a bit of a long process. Just see on the right here, as you're going through deleting, if there are still 2, remove them, right? So That means somewhere down the line there are, oh my god, that is a lot of okay. uh, I think that's why, because we've got turmeric and turmeric, and that's the reason they're so closely related. I think most of them is just turmeric and curcumin. There's not a lot of joint pains and arthritis, and yeah, there are a few here and there. But turmeric and curcumin, there's so many overlap. There's going to be a lot of overlap because they're very close. So that's why I recommend magnet. If you've chosen turmeric, most likely don't choose anything related to it. Joint pain category, arthritis. Maybe these three are the only one. Turmeric, joint pain, and arthritis will pretty much cover the entire category. Okay, so I'm going to go run through it and just make through it. They're all simplified. And what I will then also do is come back to it and then start filtering what is not relevant. Okay, sorry, I've not completed this task, but I'll take off video and just run this exercise. And then here, let's say dog. So if contains dog, text contains dog. Oh my god, look. Arthritis, like Magnet has thrown a major chunk of random keywords. We don't want to target dogs. So and this is where we need to then categories. So imagine I've just kind of remove all of this, and I will, but I'm not going to go through this now. It's just going to take me 5 minutes just to click one by one each of those buttons. Here is then, so once you've removed all the duplicates and just remaining the ones, then you have to do D, P, C, and N, right? All of this, so D is directly relevant. Anything which is directly relevant that almost you would think of high priority, you could even consider putting on in the title, and maybe as the headers of the bullet points, very, very relevant to that is a D. Partial relevant is which is, you don't mind putting it in on the product, but maybe in the details. It's not highly specific, and we'll go through some examples. But that will be P. C is, it's within the magnet, it's within the category, not the product. So this could be joint pain support belt, right? It is still under the category. It's complementary product. So if someone is looking for a joint pain belt, they're most likely they could be interested in joint pain turmeric. Now, we're not going to use those keywords, complementary keywords, on our pages or backends maybe, but not right. We might use them for PPC campaign. So anyone for PPC campaigns would run that for belts, and we just try and test it as we go. So C is for that purpose, and N is, it's not relevant. We don't want to be an issue, and these all are N. So, right? Then again, dog. So dog. Just go through any keywords that just seems weird and is repeating, rather than finding individually one by one, than this. Now, one thing I forgot, and my mistake, when you have copied all the data here, the best thing is just sort it by this, and now that will be in the details, right? Again, this clearly shows this has been Cerebro and Magnet. You can just delete one. Here again, you can delete that. Actually, my fault. I think that becomes a lot easier when you sort them out. So if you sort them out, and I don't want to see blanks, now it's a lot easier. Now you can just go here, and then if you do this as well, boom, so they're all together now, so it's actually easier. So you can just remove one. Now, apologies, some of the data here is not the same. This should have been exactly the same data, right? This should have, and it will. The reason it's different is because I've just for the demonstration purposes, I've used some test data. This is for magnet. Cerebro is correct. The magnet test data is actually test data for these two columns. For these things, it's fine, exactly as you can see. I think there's the IQ score. So this is probably mixed up in terms of what this column is to be. So ignore it. So this is important, and this is important. I'll tell you later. But assuming this is fine, so ignore that part. And just go through each of them and remove it. And then see if, oh, there's another dogs. And N, we haven't removed N again. So if there's anything else that you think, and just go through it and remove the D's. And then it's literally a matter of okay, you can see okay, now it's assuming I'm not going to do the process, assuming that you've removed all the ones, twos, so it's all ones now, sorted by what is sorted by remove all the blanks so you won't find any duplicates, and literally then it's a matter of going through and putting a DPC. So turmeric hamburger, that is a very highly relevant. Turmeric with bioperine, we don't have bioperine. Now some of them you might have to kind of go into Amazon search and put them in the search bar and see what kind of results, what kind of products there are. Turmeric with black pepper, it's borderline. So we don't have black pepper, so either you can put in complementary or partial. It's a subjective. Partial is something that we may use in the back end, but definitely not directly. It's not something that we do. Again, this is partial. It's turmeric, but not maybe with that ingredient. Turmeric capsules, 100 milligram. Partial, ours is not 1,000 milligram. That one, curcumin tablets. It's not. It's a turmeric cap. Actually, it is. It is. Pepperine and things, and you just have to go through it, and then so I'm going to switch off the video and come back and just do it all in that go, right? Okay, so as per my previous video, I've gone through it and across the entire range one by one, I've gone through and put C, N, C, D, C, P, D. So let's take an example. So turmeric, for example, is a definite D. Okay, let's see what D's are. Right, again, these are partially test data, just for demonstration purposes. So some of the numbers, some of the names might be different with the data, but so what's direct? Curcumin, turmeric, immune system booster, absolutely. That's partly also what it does. Curcumin capsule, turmeric for arthritis, turmeric supplements, turmeric. Yeah, these are pretty much, you can consider putting into titles as well. I mean, the list goes on. Vegan product, yes, it's relevant. It is vegan. Joint pain relief, it does. Anything that is relevant directly that you can connect with the product, you can write on. You don't mind putting it. Ginger extract, probably not. That should have been probably C or P or something. Again, that should be C. Wellness complementary product, right? Okay, so that goes there, and then let's see what P's are. P's are sometimes the tricky one, and this should have been D. Again, it's a test data. Turmeric powder. Now this is a interesting one because our capsule, this is not powder, so powder is still relevant. We can use this as a backend keyword, but maybe we can't put powder in our listings because it's not a powder, it's a capsule. Liver detox, it helps, but partially ginger tablets. Sometimes the competitors' names comes into it as well if they are big enough keyword search volumes, for example. These ones, black pepper, for example, it's not a curcumin supplement, it's a turmeric supplement with curcumin. Back pain relief products. Now it's a very generic term. It's, you know, we want, it's probably not direct, but it's still relevant. So direct and partial are still relevant. You know, direct has high relevance, partial has relevance, but little lower relevance. Arthritis in fingers, and again, very specific. Sometimes, again, we have enough in D's, so that's why we're not worrying about this, right? Let's say C, omega-3. These are just the way I would recommend C is, so I would search by exact search volume, and I would do this way. Search all of them that has N or something like dogs or dog, and search through here. Filter contains cell contain dog, dogs, you know, and then just start putting N. So before I would do anything, I would start with N, right? This is what I would start with in categorization. So this is what I did. So just went through and just like, you know, Glucosamine, ashwagandha, kind of went through it. But dogs, for example, was a common one here that allowed me to kind of, there's so many dogs, for example, right? Herbal remedies for dogs, cats, for example, and, you know, at least the main ones, maybe not all of them, but at least the main ones. Then I would, then I will not see N in the listings. This is already sorted by kind of search volumes, and then I will start from the top and literally one by one go through D, P, and C for at least the top, you know. And again, some products have low keyword numbers, so this one has a lot of. Turmeric is a very powerful, one of the most powerful categories. I would say till 100, search volume till 100 is already more than enough. Again, dog, that should have been N, for example. Again, this is test data, so I'm just kind of showing it for that purposes. Yeah, so take a bit, go to till 100, find or something, find D and P. Remember, D, we're looking for top 10. So D, we're going to put only top 10 here. And then D and P remaining, we're going to put probably 20, 30, 40, 50. So we don't want a lot of D's and P's more than 50 or 60. I mean, that's already a lot to begin with. So that's why, you know, that's take a judgment call, but I would normally stop at 100 if there's a lot of keywords. If it's less, then I'll probably go for 50, maybe lower sometimes, right? So remove on as much as possible, then start on the top, just go DP, C, and then after below 100 or below 50, depending on where your benchmark is, just select everything as C, right? Everything as C, because C is still complementary. Somehow competitors or the category or market is using it, so we can use that as, so D is very much for product listings, highly targeted, focused keywords that we'll go for. P is something that we'll still try to incorporate in some of the content details, maybe in the back end, for example. C is for PPC generally. You know, we won't, you know, I won't put omega-3 in the listings, for example, and N we don't touch about. You know, that's the intention of it. So once we've got that, now the action number 5, which is this, is segment and sort. So we have segmented it. Now we need to sort it back. I recommend having, let's, okay, I'll just create a temp sheet, or you can do it in an offline version as well. I'll tell you why for it. So let's, and again, all the details can be found in this process high level in terms of what number 4, number 5 step is. Again, with times, few columns and rows might have changed, so, you know, just be take care of that, but generally the principles should remain the same. If not, there'll be a second video created to make that point as a follow-up. If not, this is it. So what we need to now do is get that information into this place, right? Let's remove, turn off, right? Because, so we need to have the top 10 data here, which is only D. Then we need backend, which is D and P, so remaining lower end search volume of Ds and Ps. Then we need complementary here, and then competitors here. right? So this is how would I do it. Let's search it. Okay, filter, we don't need blanks because we have deleted it. We don't need n, right? Okay, so D's, so let's start with D here. So now these are highly relevant keywords. It's already sorted by search volumes. So let's pick, I'm just looking at the count here, 10, 11 maybe, 10. Here, right? So just maybe color it, go back here, is D, and it's this. Okay, again, coloring is just for reference. Now everything else here in the D goes in the second column, and they're important but not as high because of the search volumes. So I would probably color them slightly in this manner, and then let's do P, and P would also be slightly in that color. Now D and P. Okay, so now we need only for the second batch, not the top end. Copy and D plus P, which is here, right? So you've got the second batch. So you kind of categorize this here, and then exactly same, just do C. Now, this is where, again, I've deleted the data. So magnet, again, just for test data, maybe it's here, and Cerebro is here, and then magnet. Sorry, do not do this exercise. I'm assuming, this is test data, but otherwise, in my previous video, you would have already had what the source data is, etc. So for convenience, I'm just going to put everything in Cerebro, right? Okay, so C, there's two segments. One is what competitors, so Cerebro means competitors are using it, magnet means it's not. So whenever you're removing duplicates, try to remove magnet first, because Cerebro should be a higher priority, because if competitors are using it, then we could use it as well as a first priority. So what would that be is okay, so C is literally sorted Cerebro first, and then probably color it temp C, and complementary is the remaining, which is the magnet, and then do that the same. Okay, now you have the final results, well, actually the semi-final results of what keywords are into different categories, and all we have left to do is, the reason I'm copying in that formula is because these are filtered cells. It kind of removes and hits some columns. So I'm just going to remove them column again. Now all we do is get back to this. Just make sure it's, yeah. And you can see this data auto kind of populates. Sometimes just copied the formulas from here. So it's just auto populating the main data from here into here, which is how much exact phrase it is, how much giveaways. Now this information is for product launch formulas. You know, if we want to target this keyword, we need to give away 6 free giveaways almost daily for about 7-8 days, and therefore 48 units in total, about 50 units in total we need to give away for it to come in the top 10, page 1, or potentially top ranking, depending on how competitive the keyword is, right? So that's what that is for. But for now, all we do is literally, we've done the hard work. Now it is literally putting it together. Now, to be frank, you can just remove the colors as well. You don't need it actually. In fact, you don't need it. It was more to capture that, but here you don't. And then you can go same. Competitors is here, edit, paste values. Now again, it doesn't mean that these are not by competitors. It's just that these are the primary, and whatever is left over is, you know, these are also used by competitors, like milk thistle. I don't know why they're using milk thistles. So you can target the category in very different ways. So yeah, maybe we could have taken that as not applicable as well to some extent, but it's okay. And then this one is, yeah, and that's it for now. So I think this gives a view. So I mean, the most challenging and interesting part is step number 4, because it really needs an understanding of the product, the category, the competitors, what is us, what is them, you know, what includes in the category. You know, step 1 to 3 is probably like about 15, 20, 30 minutes, like 20 minutes exercise in total. This, depending on how long, and it can probably take an hour, half an hour, anything between 20 minutes to an hour, based on segmenting and a few things as well. And the rest is just 5 minutes. We're literally copy pasting exercise, filtering it, and putting it back. So here we are. We've got the end results of, these are the target keywords that they are search volume 4. Turmeric tablets, immune system booster, curcumin, turmeric for arthritis, turmeric supplements, etc. And then in the product launch, we can decide which keywords to go for. This is where titles, and you know, in the titles we'll probably choose 1 or 2, maximum 3 keywords that we'll try to inject. I mean, these would be anyways included based on what our product is, but then need to decide how do we incorporate, if any, and how do we want to position. Do we want to position as immune system booster? Probably not, because it's for joint pains. Turmeric, this specific turmeric is for joint pain. So, you know, joint pain is something that, you know, probably joint pain relief, etc. Again, I would actually put them here. Now, again, I'm kind of doing kind of last minute few things extra, kind of adjustments. Again, because this is test data, some of them, you know, have not been categorized in fully the right way. It's 80% there, minor tweaks needed. So this. Now, I would also recommend here to add modifiers. So what example is, and again, open for suggestion here. Here, I haven't done it. So when you write turmeric, for example, what are these all extra modifiers? Capsules with black pepper, capsules, high strength powder, capsules, tea, etc. You know, just these ones are really high relevant search terms. So it's just a matter of going through it manually and copying pasting them in here. Again, it's pick the relevant ones. So, and it's the words that we're going for. Okay, so for example, turmeric, capsules with high strength, capsules with black pepper, powder, capsules, curcumin tablets. This is not relevant. Tablets, high strength. So for me, the words in here would be tablets, high strength, capsules, powder, high strengths. Capsules is already included. Black pepper, for example, black pepper is probably included here. So anything that's like single words that can go with anything. So curcumin tablets, immune system booster tablets, or like supplements, for example, anything that's kind of related. Sometimes, for example, it's, there's like for men, no, not for turmeric, for women. So use variations here to identify tablets for joints, for dogs, natural with piperine, high piperine, and create a list of modifiers here. Now, the next step is to use Frankenstein later, but that's not part of the keyword research for now. Will be used later, but just literally going through this and filling it out. Ignore this for now, right? That's just for preparation for later on. But from a keyword research point of view, this is done. If you use Google AdWords or search term values in a traditional manner, obviously, try to find them and see if they're relevant. You can also capture some of them in full spirit, or like full words or single words here. Okay, that's it. This gives an overview of how keyword research we can do using Helium 10. It's taken a long time to explain it. It's actually faster to do it. Like literally, keyword research, put turmeric, for example, find them, click an ASIN inspector, you get the result, copy paste, 5-10 minutes there. Cerebro, once that is done, this is pretty much copy paste exercise in Cerebro and out of Cerebro. That's pretty much done. Category keywords. Now it's again, you can put 1 or 2 keywords. It takes a couple of minutes and you can push back and forth. Sometimes it just takes a long time for Magnet to run 60 minutes if it's a niche keyword or small keyword, or the servers are slow sometimes. We've seen it, but generally it's like a couple of seconds, minutes, or 5 minutes here. This we recommend consolidated and categorization keywords is 30 to 60 minutes, and finalize is how do we take them. I think it's probably 15 minutes. It's just copy paste exercise from this into different sections, etc. Modify keywords using Sonar tool, identify modifier key or competitor brands, etc. Now, if possible, it's I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe in the next videos we'll cover it. But if we can have all the brands related to turmeric, and I think there's a tool somewhere, maybe Sonar, just copy pasting all the brands here, and all the modifiers a combination for it. Now, okay, so the whole point of this is what we can do is for each of these keywords, we can create variations of these. For example, curcumin tablet, curcumin high strength, curcumin supplements for women, for men. And Helium 10 does, one of the tools does it. All we tell them is, right, use this word and create any combination possible, kind of, curcumin tablets or tablets, curcumin, whatever, and just create them. And we can then use them again for PPC campaigns or literally targeting the category in all possible angles. Again, so if you have any suggestions, things how we can build it together, I think search volume, Sonar tools, and something like that can then create the brands or all I would say is, generally, if we have done this competition analysis really well, and if we have covered enough and they have enough words, search volumes come in, some of the competitors are really hot, then actually we might not even need this. And that really simplifies the work by 50%. Because if we don't have this, there's not consolidation of much. There's pretty much zero cleansing of data because all is cleansed already, and um, the categorization is a lot cleaner, because if competitors are using is most likely at least the top search volumes, it just becomes a lot easier. The cleansing of the data of table number 4 is removed, segmentation is removed, this is removed. Like Magnet throws sometimes some random keywords, so it just increases the amount of words that we go for, right? So in some on some occasion we may decide to just go for Cerebro, and the reason I've gone through explaining all of them is just so you understand the context. But whereas sometimes what I've seen is if some competitors have really done their page optimization targeting well, then most of the like 95% of the keywords are captured by Cerebro. Now I know there might be some here and there, but especially for product launch, that is already enough. Because even though Helium tool is a great tool, it's an indicative view of the world. Only once we start an Amazon run PPC campaign, PPC campaigns is actually a better way to showcase what keywords impressions are we getting, what keywords are getting the most impressions with our keywords, what are they getting clicks. So we may tweak our top 10 keywords according to the feedback, or maybe add some more to the top 10 based on feedback on how the product is launched and the feedback and how it's going for it. So it's all estimations, right? Like how many volumes and sales ASIN inspector. It's based on statistical data analysis of Amazon, but it really helps us focus on the right thing from the word go, rather than testing and learning, especially for it. So it's definitely a great tool to start, but it's not definite. And that's what we need to be, just agile in how we use it. So yes, AdWords and all of this, we can go top of it. In short, in most cases, if we do Cerebro well, we can just do through here. And I've done this sometimes in half an hour, an entire 30 to 60 minutes entire process of one keyword, if we just use Cerebro. If you add this, then it becomes complicated, because stage 4 becomes a bit more complicated, doable, but just becomes a longer list and etc. So like for something like turmeric, I would have just gone for Cerebro because it's such a common category. There's some really big, and Cerebro actually threw them some really long list of keywords and relevant keywords that here. And later on, we could have added Magnet, but to initiate, when we are rushing through a lot of keyword research, we couldn't have gone through this way as well. So in an ideal scenario, keyword research would probably take about 1 hour on a short version, and probably a long version will take about 1 to 2 hours, depending on the data as well. So about 1 hour or 1 to 2 hours to do proper keyword research for it. Now, if you look at turmeric Himalaya here, so so we've kind of gone for turmeric, curcumin, that's there. 95 is a USP, for example. Joint pain relief is there. Arthritis support is the keyword. Vegan capsules is there. And this is just for kind of the USP version as well. So turmeric with curcumin is what we've gone for. Joint pain relief, or turmeric with arthritis, for example. So as long as the combination of words are there in the first half of this title, then it's pretty good. So we've gone for turmeric, curcumin, joint pain, arthritis. So Amazon can help rejumble some of those keywords for some of the target keywords we're going for. Hope this helps, provides a good view. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Bye bye.